Hi, Simon.
Hi.
First thing I would like to know is what is the 35-beat fight?
What is the 35? I don't know. What is it?
I've
What's the?
read on the press book that it's how the fights were choreographed. Was the peculiar way in which you did it.
Oh, I see. Sorry, I. Oh, which one is it? Which of the fights you mean? Or
That
well,
wasn't specified.
yeah. Okay, so I think the one they're talking about is the opening fight between Hanzo and Bihan. But there's a couple of big ones in there, so it's probably not just one of them. It's probably they're all pretty. I mean, there's a couple of small ones, but there's a couple of big meaty ones. So yeah, it's probably that one.
Mhm.
I didn't say that. I never counted the beats. That's for
Okay.
clever people like Kyle and Chan to know that stuff.
Of course, every fight has a different scenario and has different characters involved. Yet, are there any other ways you try to differentiate them? I mean, this is a movie made of fights, so I suppose that each one has to have its own personality.
Yeah. So what we did with the fights is knowing how much time was going to be spent in the movie on the fights. We knew that they needed to do more than just be a fight, stop the story, fight. So we built a fight graph that allowed us to calibrate and do our best to sort of understand and calibrate the energy and the rhythm and the variation and what those characteristics within each fight were going to be. So certain fights had to do certain things, but they all had to move the character development along, and they all had to move the story along as we were in these fights. So that allowed us to have an overarching sense of, because I storyboarded the whole film, and then knowing where these fights existed, and then even when the guys did the fight viz, and they shoot the actual fights with the stunt guys, and they sort of sketch them out and shoot them with cardboard boxes, so we can really, that's how they present them, that's how they do them. Then we would take the stills in each of those shots and actually put them as part of the storyboard. So it became this one along one hallway of our production department just became the film in all frames all the way down the hallway. And I would walk up and down that hallway all the time, seeing it and feeling it to make sure the pace was right. So we could make sure that, by the end we weren't bored of, we felt, it's too fight, too much there. So we sort of needed to, so it just allowed us to sort of build that in the right way.
Of course, you've used the actors as well as professional stunts, but as in every martial arts and action movies, usually there are injuries. I would like to know, what's the worst injury that happened on set?
Well, it actually wasn't one of the fighters. The worst injury on set was Naaman Marshall, the brilliant production designer, who when we were building one of the sets, he walked onto the set. It was still just wooden framework, and he stepped on a piece of wood that he thought was actually nailed down, and it wasn't nailed down, and that caused a pretty nasty hole in his leg. And so that was probably the worst one. That was pretty serious there for a moment, but he, being the professional and the tough guy that he is, he was like, "Oh, I'm fine. I'll be okay." But no, all of the stunt guys, I mean, safety comes first with everything, and it's they're supreme professionals, these guys. So ask them what, because they probably didn't tell me. They'd probably just like, "No, I'm fine. They would never tell me, they're too professional. So, but no, it was a very safe, well organized set, and so it was the production designer was the injury.
Okay, thank you very much. You've been very kind.
Yeah, no worries, mate. Nice chatting.